Hey, what's going on? How's it going out there, all you Golden Sky radio listeners? This is Coach from the Inner Champions podcast, and can you believe it? It is already show number 5. I can't believe it, but I'm more excited to do this set of series. Remember, we are in a series. This is going to be part 2 of the Success Starter Kit. Today, we are going to talk about probably 2 different sections of the Success Starter Kit in today's show. So, the first thing that we will attempt to talk about, like I told you from show number 4, ultimately, we will talk about a vision board. And with vision board, and after I am done describing that, we will then jump into, or I guess, introduce and talk about the importance of having and coming up with small attainable goals based around your vision board. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into the show and sit back, relax. Remember, if you have a journal, if you have a notebook, if you have a pen pad, whatever you got available these days, if you got technology, please make sure to utilize that. Please make sure to ultimately have a spot where you can just brainstorm, where you can take notes. If you are someone who is color coordinated and likes to be color coordinated, please take the extra 2 seconds and put this show on pause and then get everything kind of categorized with your color scheme. I know some people learn better and faster and easier that way. It's just a way that I love to ultimately break down sections when I am either audibly listening to something and or reading something. It just makes things a lot simpler for me, but that's just my thing. If that is not you, then we can quickly move on and go ahead and continue. So let's get started this afternoon and discuss what I mean by a vision board. So ultimately, we can break this down a couple of different ways and or potentially in a few different ways. First and foremost, I think the most easiest and accessible would potentially be an iPad or a digital electronic device. I have known some people to even ultimately use their cell phone device. But with that being said, that's where things get tricky. What I prefer you would do or suggest for you to make it as simple and easy for you to do is go to a dollar store and get like those science poster boards. Yes, I know that sounds a little bit extreme. That sounds a little bit wild. And you're like, Coach, why would I do something like that? Well, with everything that I'm about to talk about in today's show is ultimately going to be for the proper purpose of why this is important, and you'll soon find out why. So, say that you went to your dollar store, you got the science board, you got whatever board you could use. And I honestly, at this point, it doesn't really matter what you use. You could use a corner of your wall in your room behind your door. You could use your closet doors. You could use a cardboard box from an Amazon package. Does not matter. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you want to make sure that this vision board is accessible at all times and at least one time a day, your eyes. And it is extremely important that you put it in a place where you cross paths with this vision board a minimum of one time a day, if not better, 3 to 5 times a day. And again, some of you will be sitting there and listening and going, Coach, that sounds a little bit obsessive. But another part real quick before we branch out into the point of the vision board is if you want to ultimately be that champion and have that success rate, you have to obsess about whatever you're doing. Let me say that again. Whatever you're setting yourself out to do and accomplish and become a champion, you ultimately have to obsess about it. A lot of you are probably going to sit there and say, Coach, why is obsessing so important about when you want to obsess about these things on your vision board? Well, let me get into it really quick. The things that you place on this vision board is vastly important that you ultimately start obsessing about them. And more importantly, as we will enter into what the vision board is, what the vision board does, you also want to set some small, attainable, achievable goals on this vision board. Why is that? So that your brain can start learning that these are easy, attainable, achievable goals. Because when your brain does that, you ultimately want to reweave your brain. I think in the last show and the show before that show, sounds a little confusing, but apologize, but I ultimately talked about why a little bit it was important to start reweaving your brain, because ultimately, if you go back to, I know for sure, last week's show, I discussed with you all about building the foundation. Well, in my opinion, this vision board and these small attainable goals are the next steps into your foundation. Um, for picture purposes, while I'm speaking to you, think about yourself building a house. I'll quickly go over what a brief part of why it's important. Is why I think it is very important to build these vision or attainable goals. And back to real quickly, the foundation is so that you can have something to wrap your brain around, wrap your internal thoughts around on how to achieve them, but ultimately, at the end of the day, how to just be successful with them. So that is the reason, kind of why it is important to start building the foundation, and then leading into the foundation, you would go with your vision board. And now, real quickly, or ultimately within some details, I will say what you would put on this vision board. If you ultimately want to make $10,000 a year, and ladies and gentlemen, before I really dive deep into this, it is just an example. You ultimately can take this vision board, this blank canvas. Think of this vision board as a canvas. You can take this blank canvas and place anything that you see in your near future that you want to achieve. Now, it could be anything from 2 years to 5 years to 10 years to 20 years. It doesn't matter the limit that it would take you to achieve these attainable goals. The whole point of the vision board is whenever you put something like a family, or potentially you want to build or own your own apartment or own your own business, just like we do here on Golden Sky Radio, you would then take these things on your vision board and you would either draw them. You can either go print on Google some pictures of things. Maybe you want a jet, an airplane. You could put an airplane on your vision board. The sky is the limit. There is no limitations to what you would use or place on your vision board. Your vision board is a length, or think of a chain, like a length in a chain. This vision board is a length of your. It's an extension. You can think of, like I said a second ago, a length in a chain, like you're combining chains together and making it longer, stuff like that. You use carabiners, whatever you use. It is ultimately an extension of you and what you want to accomplish, what you want to be successful at. So, like, I'll run through some examples real quick. Could be a family, could be that jet that I mentioned earlier, could be your first apartment, could be your first house, could be your dream job, it could be absolutely anything. You could put something on there, and I'm not kidding. I want to ultimately in 2026 cut back on Starbucks. Ultimately in 2026, I want to do this. Anything that you want to cut out, you want to achieve, is all part of being successful and being on this vision board. And before we go any further, keep in mind you can make this vision board as small or as large as you want. And this is another reason why I suggest to either get a cardboard box of any size. I suggest you go to your convenience store, your Dollar Trees, your Walmarts, wherever you're at, wherever you can get to a store that has something similar to a science board. And or if you want to go further, you can get several of those, boards for like yard sales and whatnot. It doesn't matter necessarily of the quality of the board, because this is ultimately something you're going to be either gluing, taping things to, stapling things to, however you would like. At the end of the day, this is your vision board. You can decorate it however you feel necessary. You can make it have, for you females out there, have bejewels on it. For us men or boys, we can have just whatever we want. We can draw pictures off to the side, things that you're thinking about, and then ultimately, when you have this vision board, you're going to want to put it in a location that you for sure pass through your bedroom, your house, at least a minimum time of once a day, because this is where the part where I was talking about weaving your brain. When you see these attainable goals, and make sure, like I said before, again branch off on something else, is you put some vision that you put some things on your vision board that are attainable, that are easy to accomplish, because again, you are in training, you are practicing to weave your brain to become the ultimate champion in whatever you want to own, whatever you want to have. It does not matter. The sky is the absolute limit, and that's what makes these kind of shows fun, is because I can dive really, really deep. I can really teach you some tools on, if you want to be successful, if you want to be great at something, if you want to get, looked at, and just have the ability to just do what you do. And again, this vision board can't talk back to you. This vision board can't say yes or no. You ultimately have that choice. You can control that. You can control when you look at that vision board and say, okay, coach, yeah, that's attainable. Okay, coach, I can do that. And again, doing these types of shows for you all is what gets me most motivated, gets me most excited, because this is something that I have witnessed, I have done, I have gone through the motions, I have gone through the obstacles. I know that it is possible. I know that it is capable. And it goes back to our latest show. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to put into your new life? What are you willing to do to, get that spark back? What are you willing to do to wake up every single day and say, I'm going to go look at that vision board when I go comb my hair, or I brush my teeth, or wherever you decide to put it, or whenever you open your front door and you look at that and say, I'm going to get closer to this goal. I'm going to save up for this goal. And that's what you do. And then it becomes an accomplishable goal. And then when that goal becomes more accomplishable, or feels closer to being more accomplishable, you can attack that goal, make it accomplishable, and then start repeating the process for your next goal, and then over and over and over again. And the thing and the joy with the vision board is that I'm not sitting here telling you to set a timeline. Now, if you want to take it to that extreme and set the timeline and put certain dates on, okay, by this time this year, I want to accomplish this goal. Okay, by this time in 6 months, I want to accomplish that goal. If you're like me, that's an overachiever. Be an overachiever. It's okay to be an overachiever. Because in my personal opinion, when you want to obsess and start becoming that overachiever and set those standards high and the bar high and the level high, and again, you like that competition, you like that challenge, you like that, can I get it done in time? You set the standard high. If you set the standard high, over time, this is just going to be like clockwork. It's going to be easy. You'll be able to sleep. You'll be able to dream about it. You'll be able to believe and see and achieve it. And again, for me at least, it starts getting fun. And the more fun you can make it, the more, I shouldn't say easy or achievable you can make it, the better it will be. But the more that you're able to accomplish, the more that you're able to witness and see yourself accomplish, the smoother things will be, the more fun things will be, the more entertaining and exciting things will be. And again, with all of this, your energy throughout what you give ultimately starts changing. And that's really where the vision board is important, because it's a constant reminder. It's a constant, let me go see what I put on there. Let me go check it out. Let me go do this. Let me go do that. It doesn't matter. And this is why I'm so passionate. This is why I love doing what I do. And I'm so happy and so honored to be here currently on Golden Sky Radio, because I have the ability to just be more free, say what I want to say, in a controlled environment. I'm not here to cuss you out every 5 words or whatever, but I can be my most passionate. I can be my most wholehearted. I can be here with open arms. I can help you guys. I can lead you guys in the right direction. I have the freedom to do that. I have the freedom to be comfortable and saying what I want to say and not have to second guess myself. I can be as open and as blunt and as non-sugarcoat shit as possible. I'm not a cusser. I don't like to cuss too much, but those are for just example purposes only. But like I just get really motivated. I get really excited. I have that passion. The drive comes out. The desire comes out. So really put those accomplishable goals on that vision board. Put some attainable goals on that vision board because it'll make it more fun. It'll make it more joyful. Yeah, it'll make you want to return to it. It'll make you want to look at it every single day. And then once you start, looking at it every single day, you'll start becoming obsessed with it. You're like, oh, I'm only 2 weeks out from this. Oh, I'm only, 7 days out from this. And that's what makes it fun. And then you check it off the checklist. And then if you hadn't figured it out, things become more repetitive. Things become more natural. Things become easier to do. Things become easier to accomplish. And it's just the joy. It's just the passion. It's just the desire to want to wake up and conquer another day. And I guess currently, the thing that I have going on most, inspiring and passionate right now is Golden Sky Radio. Being a helping hand to Jordan and her passions and her desires are just, I feed off of that. And another thing that I kind of want to break into with, I guess not getting off track, but it's getting off track. But I think it's important to say, whoever you surround yourself with is ultimately who you will become. Let me say that again for you. Whoever you surround yourself with is ultimately who you'll start to become. And I'll break into that really quick. I promise to not go on too big of a rant. So let's say if you are around a bunch of, for example, purposes, low lives, low motivators, people that don't want to do what we want to do here for you at the Inner Champions podcast and at Golden Sky Radio. You will ultimately become them. If you don't want to, put forth the energy and the effort to go get a job or apply at a college or whatever, you will ultimately become them. The people you surround yourself is ultimately who you will become. Let that settle in. I'll say it one final time. Whomever you surround yourself with is ultimately who you will become as a person, as the surrounding of your friends. I'm not telling you to go out and get rid of so-and-so or do this or do that or eliminate them. But the more negative style people you surround yourself will ultimately give you the same energy that they're giving to you. I have a whole another show, I think, within this segment talking about that specifically. So because we have another show about it that will talk directly about that, I won't dive too deep into it. I just want to give you guys examples. I just want to be able to set the bar high for you. I want you to know that you're, the most exquisite person on this earth, or girl, female, whoever, doesn't matter, anything. I love and enjoy all walks of life. Every person out there has a story to tell. You have every right to tell the story. Again, this is part of why I came over to the Golden Sky Radio for Inner Champions podcast, is because I'm getting the opportunity to tell my story to you so that you can learn from it. You can learn from these examples. You can be an accessor. You can be that ultimate champion. You can. But again, it comes down to the little things. How bad do you want it? What are you willing to put in yourself to get out of it? Whatever you're willing to put in is whatever you're willing to get in return, or tenfold, actually. You're willing to get it tenfold back, 10 times more. And again, bring that level of energy, bring that level of passion, bring that level of desire, that want, that drive. And when you wrap yourself around these things that are on your vision board, your life will be just so much more fun, so much more enjoyable, so much more feel like can be accomplishable. And again, another valued important thing that I mentioned a few minutes ago, who you surround yourself with. I'm not saying go and eliminate all the negative, all the bad. You can work around the bad, but if you don't know how to adjust and how to work around the bad, maybe the easiest, best thing for you to do at that point then is eliminate it, is get rid of it, because the more negative you can get rid of, the more non-sayers and negative people, like I've mentioned, it just makes the entire process or the entirety of the process that much more simple, that much more want to be enjoyable. You want to go visit that vision board. You want to go and take something off your checklist. And again, I know for probably 95.5% of you, this is easier said than done. But in my opinion, and I know this is only part two of many parts, probably a six-part series within this series of shows. You ultimately have to make that change. You ultimately have to make that sacrifice. Again, like I mentioned again, I know it's repetitive and you're probably super bored with this at this point. I hope you're not. I can lead the horse to water, but I can't force you to drink. I can lead you in the right direction. I can't force you to want to be successful. I can lead you to want to make the changes, but I ultimately can't make the bed for you. And yeah, I said what I said, and it is what it is because at the end of the day, you are writing your own journal. You are writing your own level of success. You are writing all these notes down. How are you willing to retain the notes? How are you willing to learn from the notes? How are you willing to perceive from the notes? And honestly, and be honest with yourself, what are you willing to retain? What are you willing to take away from this? And I know I say that in probably all my shows, but again, I really think that that's a valued, important thing to remember. We can sit here and give you all the tips and tricks and everything, but what are you willing to take home with you today? What are you willing to take home from this show today and say, okay, coach, you're right. I'm willing to make a slight change. I'm not saying go blink your eyes and change your whole lifestyle. It's like, for example, if I told you to cut cold turkey if you're a smoker, and I told you to cut cigarettes back or cut cigarettes completely out. I'm not telling you overnight you got to cut it out. It's the same level with alcohol. Are you willing to cut back the alcohol? Are you willing to make the ultimate adjustment? Are you willing to make the ultimate sacrifice and cut back? It goes for anything. And that's the beautiful thing about life. When you slow down and you really think about the pros and the cons and the good and the bad and the ugly, the greatest thing about life is it can be the most complex thing or the most simple thing. It's all on how you want to operate. It's all on how you want to perceive life. It is your life. It is about the only thing that you can control. And the things that you can't control, that's when you get away from them. That's when you ultimately back out. Like I mentioned before on my private podcast, there was a potential other opponent who was wanting my services that I ultimately just didn't feel right for, and I backed out. You have to go with that gut. You ultimately have to, this is your life. You control your life. Don't allow other people to control your life. Don't allow other people to make decisions for you. I would never tell you to do that. I just want you to know anything you want to accomplish, you can retain. You can do it. Trust in yourself. Believe in yourself. Trust the process. Trust the opportunity that stands in front of you. And if you don't have one, make one. Make that desire, make that passion, make that opportunity present. Put it in front of you. Put that opportunity on the vision board. Ask your vision board. Put it on paper. What can my vision be? What can my opportunity be? Control that. Start weaving your brain. That is the biggest thing I could continue to repeat. And that is in this next set of series, as we continue, it's all about the mindset. And I'm not going to say any more about that because that is a complete show on its own. That's probably going to be one of my most passionate shows here for Golden Sky Radio on Golden Sky Radio. I just have such a joy, such an intense passion for what I'm doing, for the advice I'm giving. And again, I'm not telling you to listen from top to bottom, take notes from top to bottom. I just hope one of you out there, it can catch your ear, and then you can go, you know what? Coach was kind of right about that. And then in 10 years, when some of you are listening to this and go, you know what? 10 years ago, when I was listening to Golden Sky Radio and the Inner Champions podcast was on there with Coach, Coach told me this, and you put it into fruition. You put it into the present. You put it into a right now. And another part of our show, our segments in this show, You have to be that right now kind of person. You have to want to attack this like you were attacking, let's say, a football, a soccer ball, a basketball, a game to be the champion. How are you willing to attack this? How are you willing to be the ultimate champion at anything and everything that you desire to do? I can go on, and I can give you all kinds of different elements, different breakdowns, different scenarios, different suggestions. Don't forget, if you guys have something particularly that you're struggling with and that you want more in depth advice on, please don't be afraid. Email us at on our website. Our email is there. Call into the show. Leave a message for Jordan, and she will refer the message to me. I am here to help. I am here to lead you and give you the best advice possible for you for any circumstance, for any situation. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's free of charge. I won't charge you. Now, for media purposes and everything like that, I am not a doctor. I am not a psychologist. This is just personal experience. I have seen some good. I have seen some great. I have seen some championship moments. And more importantly, more recently, I've seen some really ugly crap, ugly shit. Excuse my French, but I have. And I can help you through the process. I can help you set up your own vision board, whatever you might need. If you want to sit down and relive this show, we can talk about it. We can do whatever you need to be successful, free of charge. I am ultimately now turning myself into kind of the not necessarily mental health coach, but just that mental health motivation coach, more uplifting coach on the social media sides of things. I ultimately mod for probably, like I said, I think in a Golden Sky show here on Golden Sky, mod for about 10 different people. And more importantly, several of those people have my direct social medias, and we talk 1 to 2, maybe 3 times a day for some of them. They need that extra push. They need that extra coach. Can I do this type of thing? Not saying all of you do on here, but for whoever might, I am available. I am here for you. I am here to make new friends. I am here to help you and lead you down the right path. I'm here to continue to motivate you, continue to tell you that you can do it, continue to give you the guidelines and the ultimate cheat sheet. Think of it as a test. I'm here to ultimately give you the cheat sheet on how to become great at whatever you want to become great. And for anybody at any age, at any level, it is possible. I have had teams be champions. I've had all kinds of things. I can legitly now, because it's been so long, call myself a warrior. I never used to be that way. And for 95% of you, I'm sure at some point in some way, I've been in your shoes. I never thought I was going to be a successor. I never thought I was going to have any kind of self worth on this world. I never thought that I would put forth the time and the effort and the energy that I put forth into all of the shows for you. I never thought I was worth anything. Well, becoming a champion and going through the motions that I went through and everything that I have done in my life, I am a champion. And I'm proud to say it nowadays because I believe it. I see it. I achieve it every single day. I'm a champion. That's not a prideful thing. That's not, trying to show clout or anything like that. But I trust the process. I do all the right things, and I still fail when I do the right things. Don't think that I'm a clean cut person and don't do things I shouldn't do or whatever. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I have something to reflect on. I have something to look back at. I have something to go, Coach, you did it. Coach, you keep going. Coach, you can get back up. You can do this all over again. This Golden Sky opportunity is another beautiful opportunity for me to get back and do what I love to do. Now, granted, I will give you that. It may not be at the same magnitude. It may not be in person. It may just be with my voice. But I am starting to learn with my voice, I do have power. With my voice, I do have the same desire. So that is why I take the time to do this. That is why I want to give back. That is why I do these shows for you every single week, every Wednesday. I am just dedicated. This is, again, like I've said before countless times, it's a passion. It's a joy for me. And I'm hoping to catch one of your ears one day. I'm hoping to get that email. Coach, you did it for me. Coach, you helped me. Coach, you help me lead me in the right direction. That's all I want. I want no money. I want no credit. I want no anything. I just want to be able to ultimately lead somebody in the right direction and say, Coach was a part of that. And I know already in my life I have done that. People have told me countless of times that I have done that, but I want more. I'm not finished. I have a long time to live. I have a lot of things to give back. I have a lot of things to let you know. And I just really hope you become as energetic and as motivated as me. And I'm not going to lie to you, that's hard to match. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it and be like, everybody can be coached. But because I'm going to tell you honestly, a lot of you, if not all of you, can't be me. I'm not saying to perfect me and be me. I would never want that for somebody, but you can try to be as close to me and as most motivating as you think you can be. But I have the ultimate power. I have the ultimate desire to outwork you. I have the ultimate, effort to push through. And that's all I'm looking for you guys to do is get that same desire, that same drive to push through or anything. Hard times, no hard times, easy times, fun times, most exciting times, most enjoyable times. It does not matter. I just hope that you ultimately can get behind this, can get behind our community here at Golden Sky Radio. And I'm going to do things and wrap things up. And I know this show was a little bit more lengthy than usual, but once I get going, sometimes I get going. And I have a joy for this. I have a passion. So if you've yet to do so, if you're still sticking around and listening out there, please do me a huge favor. Follow the Golden Sky Radio station on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and more importantly, in my opinion, TikTok. Everything is Golden Sky Radio. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to follow up on, make sure you visit our website at goldenskyradio.net. To find our email, you can email the show, you can call in and leave a voicemail on the show, and it will get noticed, it will get listened to, and ultimately could potentially play on one of our shows here at Golden Sky Radio. Thank you for listening. This is Coach with the Inner Champions podcast, and we will see you next Wednesday for another beautiful, fantastic episode. Thanks for listening, and I will see you